The former SEC chairman just said that it will be hard for the SEC to resist a spot ETF. I want to play that for you, talk about the timeline as well that they're talking about here. He was just on CNBC. Also, want to cover some of the other big things happening in the market over the next few days, and also something to be careful of. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on that bell notification underneath the video. I also want to thank Meld. If you want to learn about how you can get up to 1 million Meld tokens on their airdrop, you can listen through later in the video. I will tell you how you can be part of that. So let's take a look at the market. Hit subscribe, turn on that bell notification. Bitcoin still right around 30,200. We've been stuck in this range since June 21, right around 30,000. Of course, we've moved up and down about $2,000 or $3,000, but we've been just stuck here. Very little movement. Now, we do have a couple big events coming this week that could change where Bitcoin's trading. CPI is coming out on July 12th at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, so 2 days from today, the time of this recording. I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to get these good CPI prints and PPI prints and all this good news, low inflation. If we saw the Fed hit that terminal rate, maybe we have that next 25 basis points, which is what the market's expecting now. A pretty good chance of that. I believe it's right around 95% chance that we'll go 25 more basis points. But then I won't be surprised to see them pause, either at that meeting or one more, depending on what comes out. The interest rate payments are exploding. I mean, this is an interesting chart to look at. We're set to hit $1 trillion in interest payments here very soon. You can see we got up to 930 billion last quarter. We just can't continue to pay these kinds of interest rates. But of course, that is not really the Fed's job necessarily. They're supposed to keep unemployment low and to keep inflation in check. So they do have outside pressures and things that they're trying to do in addition to those two things, but those are their two mandates. Now, we have a couple big events coming later this week besides CPI. First of all, we do have a lot of earnings coming out on Friday. A lot of the banks are starting to announce. We have JP Morgan, Citi, Wells Fargo, BlackRock, State Street. A lot of big companies going to announce then, and could give us some indication on the state of credit in the US, the state of the consumer, how much money they have, that kind of thing, how much they think these customers are going to default, and what kind of earnings they're looking at. It's really going to start off earnings hopefully strong. Next week we have Tesla announcing, I believe it's the 19th, so we have some big tech earnings coming up here soon too. We have a lot of Fed speakers here this week. Pretty much through Thursday. We'll hear little snippets of it, I'm sure. Now, I want to cover what the former SEC chairman just said. I want to cover some institutions that are buying, and I also want to cover something that you should be careful of. But first, I want to talk about Meld. Now, one thing that I've noticed over the last year or two, especially while I've been traveling a lot, is that there are a lot of issues when you try to use your money in other countries. Right? They only accept certain currencies, or you transfer some money, but you don't transfer enough, or you take some money out of the bank, but then it gives you extra charges. Now, what MeldFi is trying to do is basically create one place for you to use over 16 different currencies. They also allow you to use over 200 cryptocurrencies as well, and they allow you to buy, sell, and exchange crypto with fiat safely 24 hours a day while also getting staking rewards. What's so cool about this too is they do have a Visa card that's coming to. You can get early access to it. They have low transaction fees and allow you to trade in 16 different currencies. So if you're going back between England and the US, you can just put some of your money on here, your working capital, then not have to worry about where you're at, how much you're spending, and that kind of thing. Now, they are a partner of the channel. They are doing a massive airdrop here soon. They're going to make someone a Meldionaire. I'll leave a link to their website underneath the video. You can go follow them on Twitter as well. They have 71.8 thousand followers. A lot of ones that I follow as well. And you can click their July 3 post to see exactly what you have to do to get up to 1 million Meld tokens. You really should go follow this project because I actually think they will do really well in the next bull market because they're solving a real world issue. So the former SEC chairman was just on Squawk Box on CNBC talking about the crypto market. I want to play this for you and then we'll talk about it.
Can they say no to a spot ETF?
Well,
For how much longer?
Well, it goes to that issue. I think that when the SEC approved the futures-based ETF, they said, let's look at the futures market. We see the surveillance. We see the protections in that market for the end investor that are sufficient. We don't see them in the spot market, so we're going to make that distinction. I think what the institutions are arguing is that those distinctions have gone away, and now the spot product is actually less drag, more efficient for the investor. So if there's not that delta in regulation, not that delta in what I could say efficacy, the spot should be approved. That's the argument that's going on right now. Look, the regulatory process, whether it doesn't matter.
It's been a while already.
It's been a while already. What I would say is this: if they're right, that you can demonstrate that the spot market has similar efficacy to the futures market, it would be hard to resist approving a Bitcoin ETF.
This is the SEC chairman that sued Ripple Labs. He has not been completely pro crypto forever, but he's basically saying, hey, if they can't show, or if the institutions can show, if the institutions can show that spot Bitcoin is just as protective for investors, or it's not easy to manipulate, then they're going to have a hard time. The SEC is going to have a hard time saying no to it. And at this point, the futures ETF, unless I'm missing something, still goes off the price of Bitcoin, still goes off the price of crypto. So I personally don't see a huge difference. The only thing I can think of is it's actually easier for these discounts to occur, like with GBTC, which does not protect investors. And they're approving leveraged ETFs now, which is much riskier than just buying an ETF that goes and buys Bitcoin. Of course, this will push up the price of Bitcoin. Maybe that's what they're so fearful of, because these ETFs will take more Bitcoin out of the supply, which I guess could be a possibility, but that's good for investors. So I want to hear your thoughts on this underneath the video. Pretty good thing, I think, that former SEC chairman is saying this. Definitely is some hopium out there that we could see this ETF approved. He doesn't know when it could get approved. It could take a while, but still good news. Now, some institutions are already buying. I've been covering this every single week. The weekly crypto asset fund flows report from CoinShares. We had 9 weeks of outflows, and then we've had 3 huge weeks of inflows, some of the biggest that we've had on record in the last year. A lot going into Bitcoin again, 132.8 million. We also have 1.8 million coming out of short Bitcoin, some going into Ethereum, some going into multi-asset, Litecoin, Solana, XRP, Polygon, some coming out of Cardano. But overall, a great week, 136.1 million coming in to the asset class. Obviously, Bitcoin is remaining the main focus, and part of that could be due to the spot ETF approval down the line. Some of it could be due to the fact that people are just not looking to get into the altcoin market, with dominance possibly moving up, or just lower risk appetite. It could be a variety of different things. One thing that I've been covering a lot on the channel is Binance, and specifically Binance US. I've covered it several times in the last couple of weeks. And last week, I talked about how there were massive discounts on Binance US. I might have even covered it the week before as well. But over the weekend, I saw so many Twitter pages start to talk about this like this was news. This has not been news. It's been there for weeks. There's been a $3,000 discount for Bitcoin. There's been a 10%, 8% discount on Ethereum. USDT is also discounted, or USDC. There are discounts all over the place. And part of that is just due to the fact that we have not been able to get more money into the platform. We have not been able to deposit more money. So you can deposit crypto, but there's a discount on all of them. So you can't really trade in between them and get that kind of discount. So why would you put your money on a platform that's getting sued by the SEC that has these large discounts that look pretty sketchy? I don't want to put my crypto there and then have it shut down, the withdrawal shut down or something like that, and I can't even trade between them. So the only way that you can really arbitrage is if you already had money on the platform, like US dollars, and then you can buy and then withdraw, which is a possibility. But there also shutting down these withdrawals. USD withdrawals apparently will be shut down July 20th. So be careful. If you're playing this game and you're still waiting and you have some money on the platform, I would withdraw it probably as quickly as possible because you could be in hot water here soon. Now, let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Of course, I will continue to give you the most updated news as soon as I see it. Before, you can find it on Twitter a lot of the time, like with this. So let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Special thanks to Meld. I am partnered with them, so definitely check them out underneath the video. What do you think about the former SEC chairman? Talk about Bitcoin being approved, the ETF being approved. Let me know in the comment section. Be careful of scammers down there, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.